Good morning children. In this video you are going to learn about an pressure exerted by fluids. As you know already, the fluid is an liquid plus gases. So in previous video you have learnt about an pressure. What is a pressure? The pressure is a force exerted on an surface area is called as an pressure. So formula is pressure equal to force by area and the unit of the pressure is Pascal, right? So today in this video we are going to learn about the pressure exerted by fluid. So the pressure exerted by liquid and gases. A liquid exerts a pressure on the base of the container because of its weight. You know, the liquid has its own weight. So when it is filled inside the container, it exerts an pressure. How it exerts an pressure? If a molecule of a liquid are in motion and they strike and collide with the walls of the container, in every collision the molecule exerts a force or a thrust on the walls of the container. I hope you remember what is thrust. What is a thrust? The force acting perpendicular to the surface is called as an thrust. Clear? So these molecules will be keep on moving. Compared to a solid, the liquid molecules are bit free, so that they can able to easily move inside the liquid and they get hit by each other, and similarly they collide with the walls of the container. So whenever it collide, what will happen? It exerts an pressure on the walls of the container. Similarly, gases also exerts an pressure on the walls of the container. Example is air filled in the balloon exerts a pressure on the inner wall of the balloon. Is it clear? So we are going to see how much it is affected. Like we know that the liquids and the gas, the molecules are very free when compared to the molecule that is packed inside the solid. So they keep on moving, the collision will be more and the pressure will be more. So we are going to see how it depends. What are the characteristics of liquid pressure? So this liquid pressure increases with depth. So when you move inside the bottle, you take any bottle or any column where the liquid is filled, when you go deeper, the pressure will increase. It remains same in all direction at the given depth. So at the given depth, if wherever you make a hole in the bottle, the pressure of the water coming out of the bottle remains the same in all the way, because the hole is made at the same depth. So the pressure remains the same in all direction at the given depth. Liquid pressure on the bottom of the container, it depends on the height of the liquid column. So when the height of the water is more, the pressure will be more. When the height is less, the pressure will be less. So for example, you take a tube, both the end of the tube is open, the bottom end of the tube is connected with a rubber balloon, and you pour some water. When you pour a little water, what will happen? Only the little part of the balloon will be bulged. Whereas when you add more water, what will happen? It increases the pressure, and the size of the balloon will be keep on increase when you add more water. So this is what explained in this point. Liquid exerts a pressure on the bottom of a container. It depends upon the height of the liquid column. When the height of the liquid column increases, the balloon, the bulginess will also increase. The next one is, it depends on the density of the liquid. And you know very well, each liquid is different from another liquid. For example, water is different from the normal cooking oil, and that cooking oil is different from the castor oil. So each will have a separate density. What do you mean by density? Density is a mass by volume. For the given volume, how much the molecule, the mass of the molecules are present inside the given volume is given density. Liquid exerts a pressure on the sides of the container. So if you put an I told you it is the bottom of the container, it exerts in pressure. Same way, you take a water bottle or something, you insert a tube, and the other end of the tube is connected with a rubber balloon. So when you pour some water, what will happen? The pressure will be exerted even the sides of the container. So the rubber will bulge. Okay? Clear? So these are some of the characteristics of an liquid pressure. The liquid pressure increases with the depth. It remains same in all direction at the given depth, and it exerts a pressure on the bottom of the container, and it depends on the height of the liquid column. When the liquid column is more, the pressure will be more. When the liquid column is less, the pressure will be less. It depends on the density of the liquid. As you know, density is a mass by volume. And then the liquid exerts a pressure on the sides of the container. So these are the some of the characteristics of a liquid pressure. Now we are going to learn about a manometer. So what is a manometer? It is an instrument that is used to measure the pressure of the liquid. So the another name of a manometer is a pressure gauge. It is a simple pressure gauge. So this manometer is going to measure the pressure difference between the liquid. It's going to measure the pressure difference between the liquid. So what is a manometer? It is an instrument used to measure the pressure difference of the liquid. And what is another name of a manometer? It is a simple pressure gauge. Okay. So you have to write about the construction. The construction is very simple. It consists of an U-shaped glass tube. It consists of an U-shaped glass tube filled with a liquid or a mercury, anything, mounted on a stand, wooden stand against a marked scale. So what do you have to write? You can see the diagram and explain on your own words. It is a U-shaped glass tube in which the liquid is going to fill, and then either the liquid or a mercury, anything, and then it is mounted on the wooden stand where the marking is there. Okay. One end of the tube is left free, whereas the another end of the tube is connected with the flexible tube, or you can even use the part of a rubber balloon. Okay. One end is left free, another end is connected to one flexible tube, and the other end of the flexible tube is connected to one beaker, that is connected to one beaker or an funnel or anything that is again going to measure inside and some other liquid. This liquid pressure only we are going to measure. I'll repeat again the construction. It is a very simple. It consists of an vertically U-shaped glass tube fitted on the wooden stand with the marked scale. One end of the U-shaped tube is left free, another end is connected to one flexible tube. So again this end of the flexible tube is connected to one liquid on which the pressure is going to measure. We are going to measure the pressure of this liquid only. Clear? So how we are going to measure? The liquid pressure is measured in terms of the difference in the height of the liquid. So when you do an activity, so you will come to know there will be a change in the level of the liquid column in the U-shaped tube, and that difference will give you an height. Based on that height we have a formula to find out the pressure. So when we apply that, you will find out then the pressure of the liquid. So you are just simply going to learn about a manometer, what is the construction, how it is working. Clear? We are not going deeper into the concept. When you go to a higher class, you will be learning more about a manometer. I am just going to explain you an working part of a manometer. So cut a small piece of a rubber balloon. As I told you, if you don't have a flexible tube, you can go for a rubber balloon. The lower end of the rubber balloon you can cut. The one end of the rubber balloon is cover the mouth with an thistle funnel, and the another end of the rubber is connected with the manometer, that U-shaped glass tube, whereas the another end of the U-shaped glass tube is left free. Clear? So you have taken a manometer, the U-shaped glass tube. Inside you are filling some color liquid. Clear? One end of the U-shaped is left free, another end is connected to one glass tube, and the lower end of the another end is connected to one rubber balloon, and the lower end of the rubber balloon is connected to one funnel, and then that funnel we are going to immerse inside the water, the beaker containing an water. So what is it? Dip the thistle funnel in the beaker filled with the water. So when you dip it, what will happen? The water at the same level will change because the pressure is induced, and that creates an high pressure. On the other side it will be in low pressure. When the funnel is, if you press it deeper, what will happen? The pressure will increase. As you go deeper, the pressure will increase. Similarly, there will be change in the height of the liquid column, and that height difference you are going to measure. Look at this one. You can see at first it was given both are in the same level. So when you immerse the funnel inside the water, what will happen? It creates a high pressure. So the liquid is moving down. When it moves down, it increases here. So that difference height will give you the pressure difference. Clear? Rho GH. So the pressure difference is rho GH. Rho is the density, G is the gravity, H is the height. Clear? So what I am saying is, when there is a no pressure difference, the liquid remains in the same height. So when you dip and funnel inside the beaker containing water, what will happen? It creates a high pressure. So the liquid column will move in this direction. So as a result, what will happen? There will be an height difference in the liquid column. That height difference you will measure, and if you apply it in a formula, you will get the pressure difference of the liquid. Is it clear? So manometer is an instrument that is used to measure an pressure difference of the liquid. You will be having a U-shaped glass tube. One end of the tube is left free, another end is connected to one rubber balloon, and the another end of the rubber balloon is connected to one funnel. Another end of the rubber balloon is connected to one funnel, and then that is dipped inside the glass tube. And when you dip deeper, what will happen? The pressure will increase, and there will be a change in the height of the liquid column, and that height difference you are going to measure. Clear? Yes? So these are some of the example of the gas exerting and pressure. So we are going to learn the pressure exerted by gas. So as you know already, we are enveloped by an air. So this envelopment of an air is called around the earth is called as an atmosphere. This air also has a weight, and therefore it exerts an pressure. So the pressure of the air above the surface of the earth is called as an atmospheric pressure. So air exerts an pressure. Outside the atmosphere there are lots of air. That air exerts a pressure in the atmosphere, so we call it as an atmospheric pressure. It contains a mixture of a gas consisting of 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, and the rest 1% is a combination of gases like argon, carbon dioxide, water vapor, helium. So it has some weight, so it exerts a pressure. So as you know already, the molecules are free to move inside air container. So what will happen? It will be keep on moving. So it hit each other, and as a result, because of the collision, it exerts an pressure. Clear? And similarly, inside our body also the pressure is exerted, and outside atmosphere also there is a pressure. So if the pressure inside the body and outside the body, if it remains in same, that is why air pressure cannot crush us. Air exerts a pressure on our body as well. The air above in the atmosphere presses down against our body. However, the pressure exerted by our body is equal and opposite to the atmospheric pressure acting on our body. Thus, the air pressure cannot crush us. Clear? So, air in the tire of the car, balloon exerts an pressure that is due to the collision of an molecule. So, when there is a collision, it exerts an pressure. Clear? So this is one example of an atmospheric pressure. The air pressure inside the straw is reduced. So when you suck the air inside the straw, what will happen? You are reducing an air pressure, and the air pressure on the surface of the drink pushes the drink up in the straw to reach our mouth. So this is where the air pressure is working. So when you want to drink a juice or something, what will happen? First you will keep the straw in your mouth, and you will suck the air. So you are reducing an air pressure inside the straw. What will happen? Due to the pressure on the liquid enters into the straw, and finally it goes to your mouth. Clear? Similarly, the same case is happening in case of a syringe also. The doctor dips its nozzle into a liquid and pulls the piston, so thereby lowering an air pressure inside the syringe. The medicine will get into the syringe. Is it clear? Fine. This activity, I made 3 holes in the water bottle. As you know, the liquid exerts and more pressure when you go deeper. So the pressure will be more in the lowest hole compared to the topmost hole. So this is an example for the liquid exerts and air pressure. Clear? So next one is about an air exerts and pressure. In this, I am taking a beaker with a full of water, and make sure there is no air gap in the air bubbles in the beaker, and close the beaker with any plastic lid or something, and give a gentle press, and then you can turn it upside down. So when you turn it upside down, what will happen? There is no air inside the beaker, so there is no air pressure. Only the air exerts a pressure from outside, that is towards the upward direction. Clear? So the lid will not fall, and you can see you can hold it for more time. Whereas if you take a beaker with half of an water and there is some air inside the beaker, and if you do the activity again, what will happen? There will be an pressure inside the beaker, and similarly there is a pressure outside the beaker. If the pressure inside and outside get balanced, the lid will stay in the same place. If that does not happen, what will happen? The lid will automatically falls down and the water will come out. Okay, clear?